Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of Don't Be a Wimpy Christian. I am Orionna Coleman and I am solo dolo today. I really had intended on every episode featuring a guest, but I believe since it's the time of the year, if you're watching this episode in live time, it's December of 2019. But the content that we're talking about is going to be relevant for any time that you watch it. But during this time of the year, people are pretty busy. They're spending time with their family a little more often. They're kind of wrapping up the year. And even though I had a guest to confirm, family emergencies can come too, and that's what I endured this morning. So the moment I received that message and she called me and confirmed that she wouldn't be coming today, God spoke to me. He was like, "You do it yourself." My husband had already told me yesterday to do an episode on my own, but it took that incident for me to confirm, okay, I know why God sent my husband, because he be right sometimes. So anyways, today's episode is all about preparing for the next year. Now, if it's 2020 when you're watching this, 2021, 2022, because videos, when they go online, they do not disappear. Whatever time this is of the year for you when you're watching this episode, you still can take the content and make it relevant about preparation. What are we going to do? But in hindsight, I want to call it 2020 vision. So you all know when you go to the eye doctor and they give you the eye test and they're making sure you can see everything and that everything's fine. I remember when I was younger, I used to want to go to the eye doctor and get every letter right that they're showing me on the wall. And I got down to the small letters and it would get kind of complicated, a little bit blurry for me to see them. So I would guess, and my vision wouldn't be 2020. It would be kind of like few points off, maybe like 17 out of 20 and things of that nature. Then my sister, when we were younger, she would go and she had perfect vision, and I just used to slick hate on her because she had perfect vision and I didn't, and I used to have to wear glasses. But those glasses helped me to see better and helped me with my 2020 vision. Well, I said that scenario to kind of set you up to how I want you all to look at life. Sometimes you need glasses to see clearly. You need something to help you see the vision as clear as possible, crystal clear, so you can go to the next level you need to go. Now, you might not need physical glasses, but you need something to help you continue to push forward. With my sister, she didn't need 2020. She had 2020 vision when she was younger, but as she got older, she needed her glasses. I continued to need them. And that helped her see the way she was seeing when she was younger. Well, today's glasses for us is gonna be what we need to have as our foundation to start 2020. And y'all, as you see with my setup, my foundation is God. My foundation is making sure I speak to God, I talk, I study my word, I write in my journal to make sure I'm on the path that God wants me to be on. So with the setup, I kind of wanted to show you all. I think I got I can just look at it and see. I got my first journal for Christmas of 2016. One of my best friends, Simone, her mother bought it, and it literally says my prayer journal. I had committed my life to Christ earlier that year, and I kind of did it publicly at my best friend's church in Hattiesburg for the world to know. But I want to say it was like the summer of 2016 that I fully committed my life to Christ, and I told God, I was like, I can't do this on my own, and I feel like I heard God speak for the first time, and he told me, he said, you're either going to choose depression or you're going to choose me. Now, I've shared with you all on past episodes that I've dealt with depression, but not on this series. But I'm saying all this for a reason, and I'm going to share with you soon why. I really had a choice even then, even in the middle of the year. It was 2016. I had just graduated, and it's crazy because I was on such a high graduating Jackson State. I had graduated valedictorian. I was honor student, and I had all these different people coming to me saying, oh my God, you're going to be working for me, and you're going to be working for me. I love your personality, things of that nature. And I was just on a high. Then I got back home, and everything just kind of went low all at once. my confidence went down. I just was unsure about my future. I knew I didn't want to go straight to grad school because my heart wasn't set on a certain degree. But I was looking at all my other friends prepare for grad school, so I was kind of sad about that, thinking I was getting left out. And I just had a lot of things going on, a lot. And I was engaged. Like, Chris had proposed to me that Christmas of 20. Well, did he propose? Yeah, he proposed to me before I graduated. So I was engaged, and I was thinking on and off about that. But anyways, I remember waking up one morning and I was just really sad. And I literally heard God say, "You're going to choose depression or me." Now, when I heard that, my Bible at the time, this was my Bible, it was sitting right beside my bed. And for me, when God said "or me," that meant I needed to open my Bible and start reading to get encouraged. And I did. I didn't have a teacher. I didn't have anybody to call to instruct me. I just literally opened the Bible. The first book that I started reading and meditating was Proverbs. And I literally just let God speak to me through his word. Things just popped out. Like, of course, I've had a Christian background, grew up in church, but when you're going for yourself, of course it hits you differently, and I don't know everything. But I can tell y'all that when you sincerely have a heart to seek God and to make him as your foundation first, he's gonna teach you, he's gonna instruct you. You won't need nobody to come and like rectify certain things, because when you personally in your heart make that time for God, he will do it for you. And then as you start, he'll send other people along your way to help, because that happened with me. My pastor, I got really close with my pastor. I already had a church home, but it's like once I started reading my word and studying even more, what my pastor was saying during the sermons started to speak out to me. And then I started to reach out to him personally about things that I was going through, and we developed a really great relationship in my first years of Christ, of going into Christ. And I'm really still, I feel like I'm still a newborn baby, because it's only 2019. I did it in 2016. But anyways, I started doing it, and God started speaking to me. He was like, okay, you need to remember this. So as you can see on the Bible, I have sticky notes. So I started like putting sticky notes on passages that really spoke out to me. Like the one I just turned to is Psalms 21:7. Psalms, let me write what the sticky notes say. The sticky notes say Psalms 24. It says, "May he give you the desire of your heart and make all your plans succeed." First of all, that was not even my plan to go to that, but literally I was just talking about the desire of our heart, and I went to that verse. But I had different things like that all through this. I had personal notes on them, I had my pen and all that, and it was just a beautiful journey that I continue to do in my Christian walk. And honestly, I just put this Bible down this year. Like I upgraded to another Bible. It's a King James version that a Christian friend of mine bought the little titles for me, and it doesn't have sticky notes like that one. But this, I'm not getting rid of this Bible, y'all, because this was like the first step into my journey. And I want to remember how it felt and how good it felt to get to know God and to grow a relationship with him. So I did that, and then I had my first journal, and y'all see sticky notes in there too. Like I really went in, and now I am on, this was my second journal. I went through this one pretty fast. I feel like I went through this one even faster, of just writing about my life and putting my emotions out there. And now I'm on my third one, which is the current one, and I'm trying my best to continue to grow. Now I want to stop right there. Like I said, you lay the foundation. That is what's going to help you into your next month goals, your next year goals, whatever you have. You lay your foundation. This has been my foundation. As life has happened, things have gotten harder. At first it was like this joy, like, oh my God, me and God forever, everything's gonna work out. When I pray, every prayer is gonna be answered. Oh my God, this is amazing. But life is still gonna hit, y'all. I don't want you all to think that when you become a Christian, or being a Christian means that you're going to have a perfect life, and that problems won't happen, and enemies won't come, and things won't taunt you to bring you down, because that's really when the devil is paying even more attention to you, because you've given your life to Christ, and he's like, wait a minute, I was cool with you, being over here doing this thing, but now you're doing that, so I'm gonna start making some things uneasy in your life. I know that I can't be the only person that knows of someone who were enjoying the sin. They were enjoying everything that was going on, and then when they committed their life to Christ, things started to shift and they started to question, like, why is this happening? Well, that's because the enemy, he can reward you too. He can make you feel good. He can give you a new car. He can give you things for temporary things to make you feel good. But when you're going against him and you're serving God, someone that's higher than him, someone that's better than him, he's gonna get mad and make some things shake in your life. And not just the enemy, God allows for things to happen too, that's gonna test you and that's gonna build your faith. So the problems that I had in my first prayer journal ain't nothing like I had in the second one, and it's definitely nothing like I have now in the third one. I grew. Your levels, you go up on levels. It's like grade school. You start in kindergarten, you go up to 12th grade, you graduate. But then you got community college, you got college. If you want to get your master's, you got that. If you want to get your doctor's, you got that. And then you got the work world. You got to apply all those things and then add even more things into whatever you get blessed to do or to create. In my high sense of Story Studios, God has me creating this. So everything that I've learned is going into here. But I said that to say that that's probably when wimpiness may start, when the problems come, and when situations that you can't control, all of a sudden you start to fret and you start to worry, and the foundation that you created may get shaky. Well, that's why I told you all I start with the word, because even when it seems like my foundation gets shaky, I'm reassured in the word that it'll never get shaky, because every situation that I may face, God has already conquered. He's already promised me that he will always be with me. The verse for today that I want us to meditate on is from Genesis. Genesis 18:15. It says, Sarah was afraid, so she denied it, saying, I didn't laugh. But the Lord said, no, you did laugh. Let me tell y'all why I chose that. We have times in our life where God would tell us something and we don't believe it. We may be like Sarah and we laugh it off. In this story, God told Abraham and Sarah that they would have a baby, and they were old in age and they didn't believe it. Sarah didn't believe it to the point where she literally laughed, and God called her out on it. Like, you did laugh. And I'm saying this because things are going to happen to us. God is going to give us a vision, right? He's going to give us visions that we can take into the next month or the next year. But problems are still going to come. The enemy is still going to try to taunt us. And we may get to the point where we might be like Sarah and laugh about the vision that God gave us. Or we might cry. That's me. We might cry. We might get angry. We might get mad when things come, because we know what God told us, but the situation don't look right. Like, Sarah's old, so how is an old woman gonna have a baby? She don't believe it right now. And you might be in a situation where you don't believe it right now. The visions that God has given you, you don't believe. And the first thing you got to do to start believing is make sure your foundation is sturdy. And if you're starting it with the word, you're starting it with talking to God, you're starting it with your journal and praying and keeping yourself around like-minded people, you have a foundation sturdy. But that second one is belief in yourself. Do you believe in everything that you're studying, everything that you're writing out to God, everything that you're praying about? Do you really believe it? Like, Sarah didn't even believe it. She laughed. Are we Sarahs today? Are we Sarahs? Are we just laughing about stuff? Even though we know God, even though we're in our word and we're writing our visions out, do we truly, truly believe in ourselves? Y'all, we can't accomplish nothing going into anything the next day with the goals that God has given us if we don't believe in ourselves. We have to believe in ourselves first, because let me tell you, once you believe in yourself, you start to do things. For example, this series, Don't Be a Wimpy Christian. I didn't just create that. I didn't just create Don't Be a Wimpy Christian for you all. I created it for me too. I am a recovering wimpy Christian. I have days where I relapse and God brings me back. with the foundation, he lets me know, like, look, I got this. I got you on a sturdy foundation. You're not going to fall. He reminds me that plenty of times in his word, plenty of times just personally throughout the day as I need it. But yes, I'm a recovering wimpy Christian. I have doubted myself so many times. Too many times to count. I have questioned visions that God has given me. I have wanted to give up so many times. Like every statement that I made, I don't even have a number on it that I can give y'all because it's been that many times that I've been there. So God spoke to me, I want to say it was this past summer, and he was like, you got to get out of that rut. The enemy will try to keep you in a rut, y'all. He would try to keep you believing your doubts, believing in the failures, believing in the past circumstances. He'll continue to remind you of those things to have you believing that that's what's in your future, not the prosperous life that God has promised you. And you have to know that the enemy can speak to you just like the Lord. But remember that the enemy is only coming to kill, steal, and destroy. So anything negative that you're hearing, that ain't God. God is going to tell you things of promises, things that can prophesize, things that are really great in your life, that can have a great future. The enemy don't want that. So whatever the enemy has said, go ahead and be like, scratch that. Go ahead and scratch that in your mind, because it's not true. It's not true. You are worthy. You are capable. You can do this. You are worthy. You are capable. You can do this. Don't laugh about it. I mean, when you first hear it, if you're laughing just because, like, wow, God, that's pretty big. And that probably was Sarah. When God said it, when you really look at what's around you, and you look at the fact that all these other older women ain't had no babies, and you expect me to have a baby, it's hard. I know it's hard for you to believe it, but don't dive into that too deep. Don't dive too deep into that, because that's just our flesh. We only know what we've seen. We only know what we've been through. We only know what's around us. But God sees beyond any of that. He sees beyond what we see on social media. He sees beyond everything. We don't know the mind that he has, because it's unfathomable. It's incapable. It's incapable. It's impossible to know. So even if I got tongue tied on that, y'all get what I'm saying. Like, I can't even describe how God sees it, because it's just, you just can't. You just can't. It's indescribable. But he told you for a reason. He told you for a reason. He told you that vision for a reason. And let me tell you something else. It's yours. It's yours. If you heard God say that, because when you build your foundation, you've already been working on your relationship with God. You've already been reading the word. You've already been meditating and praying and writing in your journal and speaking with like-minded people. So if you've been doing this, you know how God's voice sounds. My sheep know my voice. You're a part of God's sheep, so you know your shepherd's voice. So if you know that, and he's telling you that, believe it. God has never lied. It's not one thing in this Bible that shows that God never fulfilled a promise. His promises are always fulfilled. 100% passing rating. 100% of the time, God is going to show up and he's going to show out on Kairos time. I had shared this on my personal page a few days ago about family. And I was saying how God has came through on Kairos time, even with my family. There's been times where I didn't know how we were going to work through some of the situation we went through. I didn't know how we were going to overcome some of the health crisis we've endured this year. But God is a Kairos God. Kairos means right on time. Not in chronological order where we want one thing to happen after another. Like if we pray and we fast and we read our Bible, we want a blessing. That, like in that order, we want it right after the next. So after we did those three things, we're automatically going to get blessed. First of all, we're blessed every day. But we want whatever we've been praying about. We want that specific thing to happen, like God is a genie when he's not. But Kairos, showing that God is on Kairos time, meaning that even when we don't know when it's going to happen, it's going to happen and we're going to know that it's God. That's how your visions are going to be. They're going to happen on Kairos time, and the way they happen, you're going to know that it's God. So that's what this series is about. Don't Be a Wimpy Christian will be going into 2020 as well. We will have guests lined up sharing more of their stories of how they're letting go and they're letting God control what's in their future, what they've done. I want to highlight people who have already conquered some things, so it can encourage you and I. So it can encourage us to keep going. What have they done to step out on faith and to really show up and show out, to let God show up and show out in their lives? I want you all to hear their stories and be encouraged, be motivated to keep going. As far as your visions, I want you to keep going after them. I want you to believe that they can happen. And let me tell you something else. God's not going to show you every step yet. He's going to tell you something, and he's going to tell you what to do next. He's going to reveal a step. And like I said, that's when that second part comes in of us believing in ourselves. We have to complete that second step. Sometimes he's not even going to reveal the third step until we complete the second one. So while you're thinking about step 100, you haven't even completed step 2. And you have to complete step 2 to get to 3 and eventually step 100 like you want to go. So I encourage y'all to keep going. Keep going after those visions. Write them down. I have the prayer journals, but I also have an app that I downloaded on my phone. Let me see what the name of the app is called. It's called Prayer. If you go in your app store or your Google, your Play Store on Android phones, if you just type prayer journals, different things that come up for that. And I found one that works really well with me. It's called Prayer. It's like a great icon that has a little pen and a notebook in it. Well, paper on the icon. But anyways, I write down, like, if I have people I want to pray for, I'll write it in there. I write my journal entries in there, and it's very convenient for someone like me with a young child who sometimes he doesn't let me have the freedom of writing physically in my journal. Well, I found the way where I can hold my phone and still kind of type out what I want to say, get my thoughts out and write them down, and not be sad that I didn't get a chance to journal. So it's definitely good for people who's on the go, or that has young children. You can still get things done without them pulling at your book and stuff like that. I can fight them away from my phone. I'm pretty good at that now. But yes, y'all, I pray that this has encouraged you. I pray that whatever visions that you have, that you do not give up on them, because you don't need to laugh at them. You do not need to laugh at anything that God has told you to do, unless it's like I said, it's the first response, but don't dive too deep in it. Don't believe your flesh, because your flesh doesn't know. Like, we can't see. Like I said, we can't see what God sees. So we have to, but if we believe in him, we have to know that he knows way more than we ever know. He knows our future. He literally has great plans prepared for us to prosper us and give us a great future. So you have to dive deep into that instead of what your flesh wants, and really go into the will that God has for you. I want to do that with Story Studios. I want to create the content that God has put in my heart to create. So that's why every episode is on Story Studios pages and not my personal, because this is a brand. This is a business. God has spoken to me and he's told me to create this content, faith-based content, encouraging content, positive news. He's told me to do these things for a purpose. I don't know the full vision yet. I just know that I have this show, Don't Be a Wimpy Christian. I have another show that I'll be releasing next year that helps you dive even more, especially for beginning Christians. It'll help you dive more into the word and like really get into studying. If you need help with that, I'm going to have a show ready for that. I have some other things coming next year that I'm not ready to release yet, but just know that this is going to be a channel full of encouraging, informational, powerful content that's going to continue to help you go to the next level. If my stuff ain't doing that, it ain't Story Studios. And with the brands, working with businesses, helping them create content for their business and things of that nature for them to grow on the marketing side, I do that as well. But everything starts with the foundation. Whatever I do, I want to make sure God is orchestrating it, because then I know I'm going to succeed. If God is orchestrating it, you're gonna succeed. You're not gonna have to worry about what's gonna happen, because just like in Genesis with Sarah, she did have that baby. She did. So like I said, I pray that this encouraged y'all, and I'm just gonna take a moment, like I want to do with every episode. I know sometimes I may forget, but I really want to get in the habit of making sure for this show that we pray at the end, because like I said, I'm a recovering wimpy Christian, and y'all probably are too, and it'll come back. It'll definitely come back off and on, but I want you all to know that you can get it off you. And it's in my spirit, I wasn't gonna say this. I wasn't gonna say it, but Don't Be a Wimpy Christian will be the title of my first book. So God has confirmed that he wants me to write a book, and I'm doing a video series, but I'm also putting even more of the revelations God has given me into my first book, and that'll be coming 2020 as well. So stay tuned for that. I'm excited. I didn't want to say it because it was the wimpiness. I didn't want to say it because I didn't want it not to happen. I didn't want to tell you all that's coming, and then 2020 passed and y'all never read the book. But it is coming, and maybe that's why God wanted me to do the episode today, for me to admit that that's coming too. So that book is coming. I'm writing it now. My goal, honestly, is to finish before the year is over. And everything's in my heart. I can just put it out on paper and work towards publishing it. I don't have a release date or anything like that, because I haven't decided if I'm going to self-publish or if I'm going to go through a publisher. But that is coming. So make sure you stay tuned for that. Make sure you stay tuned for these guests, and let us pray. Lord, I thank you for this time that I have with everyone that's watching this video. I pray, Lord, that we stop being wimpy Christians, that we recover from this bad habit of just diving into what our flesh wants instead of what you want, Lord. I pray that we believe what you say instead of laugh or cry or get angry about certain things when they don't work out the way the visions you give us. I know that we have certain plans, like when you give us a vision, we have certain plans the way things should work out, and we get angry, or we might laugh, or we might cry when things don't work out our way. But Lord, give us the courage to know that our ways are not your way, and your way is the best way. Lord, I thank you for this time with all my guests, and I just pray that this hit somebody today, and that I said something to encourage someone to keep going and to not give up on what you've given them. We love you, Lord. Thank you for just putting in us the strength to not be wimpy Christians and to believe in what you tell us. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Thank y'all so much for joining in with me today. I will see y'all with my next guest on the next episode.